What's most joyous for you in the sense of working with someone or supporting someone on this path, or showing up in this way for someone? What is ideal for you?
Well, I mean, the first thing is I have to honor who they are. Honor. I have to not, necessarily go to some of the fancy sounding stuff that we've been talking about, and see where someone's really at, and a lot of the time you'll find that people who don't have any experience with spiritual things have very clear knowing, and often very, very high knowings, because life teaches people that stuff. But quite often what they're missing is the guidance to separate what's important from what isn't important and get the courage to do that. So a lot of the time, it is courage. It's about bravery, it's like questioning, coming to a point where you question everything, where you're willing to act upon your knowing. Right? So, like I was with someone, we did a buddy thing the other day, and she kind of had quite an intuitive approach to God from when she was a child. So it's like she didn't feel that she needed to move forward spiritually. That's completely fine. By the end, she realized that she hadn't realized that she could, and I perhaps turned her on to how much further she could go, and that she might be in a bit of a holding pattern. But I don't force that until the person's, I've hopefully inspired them to see that they can take or leave that as an option. But you start where someone is, really, and the joy, I suppose, is to help people, and by doing what I almost just feel that I'm meant to do. I mean, I was very reticent to do this whole thing because in a lot of spiritual communities that I was involved with, that I was in just because what else was I going to do with my life? This was the thing. It was quite obvious to me, that captured my attention and drove me. Was that there was an attitude of, in a way, everybody wanted to be the man kind of thing, ego would creep in. This is the thing in a lot of spiritual areas. It's quite natural. You're working with intangibles, and your old ego kind of creeps in into these structures, into these communities. But in a way, I came to the point where I saw quite clearly it wasn't even about, even though a little bit part of me wanted that, because I felt that I was in a holding pattern, or, I think everybody, they wanted some kind of validation. And then I realized that was irrelevant, and that I was literally looking at this person as just a permutation. It could just as easily be a truck driver. I'm doing this because this is what I'm built to do. Not because I think I'm so incredibly wonderful. It's just because it's my communication, it's what I've experienced, and I'm frankly came to the point where I'm unwilling to do anything that I'm not most highly built for. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it was almost frustrating. It's like I wanted to go back, like the guy in the Matrix, and eat the steak and just kind of be ordinary and do ordinary things, but I literally couldn't do it anymore. And it's not because you run out, and you do this because you can't do anything else, and it's some kind of sellout, and you want to write books and live in LA and make up spiritual stuff for people to consume. But it's just that my particular talent was to not only have these experiences like many others, but also I had the mental capacity which had a positive as well as a negative aspect, because mind is commonly associated with negative aspects because it creates concepts and locks you in. But when it's used properly, I believe in my experience, it can translate and describe, and it can also push you to areas that you wouldn't necessarily go to just intuitively, experientially. And people can do that intuitively, experientially. They can go through the body. It's like people can approach truth through the body, through the emotions or the vital, and through the mind, and through the psychic. This is Aurobindo's delineations of the different aspects of the being. But I honestly believe that all in the same way as the paradox, all your cylinders are best firing, and you also know what you came in with, and you have certain strengths. And to me, I honestly believe that the mind became a strength rather than a weakness. Something in my karma was to finish off the mind, and that way I can particularly help people like myself, who I was. You know what I mean? And there aren't many out there, because there are some brilliant teachers out there, but there aren't, I don't believe, many who can articulate this stuff like me. And again, I'm not wanted, that's not for me to sound great. I'm looking at myself almost like, you know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's, Muji, for example, tells amazing stories. It's just, he draws you in, you know. I can't tell a story for nuts.
Yeah. It's your way.
It's just
It's
me,
what
this does this.
Right.
And he can do this, especially he's designed to do this for people like me.
Yeah.
And there are, this is such a mentalized world, but there are so many people confused, living inside of a very confused and very, in general terms, very stultifying paradigm, a modernist paradigm, that would go to their yoga center and go, okay, yeah, so, you know, they say this, and then you go down the road to the Vipassana and they say this, and like, everybody's got a different opinion, I've read a million opinions and whatnot. My job is to help them sift through all that, turn them on to what's got in common, use what they have, you know, see where they are. Classic kind of coach thing in a way. It's like kick them forward as fast as they want to, as fast as they can go, you know. Not that time is ultimately an issue, but, you know,
Yeah.
paradoxically, within Tibetan Buddhism, it's like, you know, you might die tomorrow and you don't know where you're going, so get a little bit of healthy fear and use your life. Seize the day.
Yeah.
Seize the day. What are you doing? You're going to get a couple of houses and then die? I mean, read page 1 of any Hindu or Buddhist book. It's like, the stuff passes, the relationships pass. Haven't you noticed? The houses, you could lose them, the business, you know, you don't know how things are going to go. You can project them to go well, but even then, you know, what happens when you die? The great taboo, it's like, well, they've got to, that's where reincarnation was invented. It's like, take responsibility for eternity. Bring the eternity in the picture, widen the perspective. Tibetans say that a being who only thinks about the fortunes of this life is a small scope being, right? And a medium scope one who is interested in personal liberation, and a great scope one is interested in enlightenment for the sake of all beings, which is really like becoming one with the everything, both liberated in that sense of transcended, but even higher than that in that sense is the feminine side of complete compassion, complete connection with the human condition, understanding the suffering but transcending it, you know, not just getting out of here, but getting out of here through here. And not just through here, getting out of here through here. Both. All. Yeah.